The rainy season has been falling for several days. It's a weather that others hate, but it's a perfect day to work for me. I am a writer of crime novels. A rainy day is the right weather for murderers to work, and it's also the right weather for my imagination. It seems like I can see the culprit washing away his traces with rainwater outside the window. It is the material of the next work. Serial murder on a rainy day. However, apart from the good weather for work, there was a problem. The laundry that was dried indoors didn't dry well, so it had a musty smell. Moisture from the outside and the moisture evaporated from the laundry were gathering and filling the entire studio. I was worried that the materials in the studio closet might get wet. In particular, there was one laundry that never dried. It was a large black hoodie that was worn over the head. The hoodie was from London, the city of Sherlock Holmes and Jack the Ripper. According to the man who sold me this hoodie overpriced, it was cursed to attract something absurd. I didn't know that the curse would attract absurd moisture so that it would not dry out during the rainy season. In any case, it wasn't dry enough to be serious. Even after a few days, it was damp and smelled like rain. It seemed like I should leave it alone until the rainy season is over. Perhaps because of the curse of the hoodie, the writing did not work well despite the weather being suitable for the work. Something vivid experience was needed. I've been looking for crime-related news or documentaries, but nothing caught my eye. It's a vivid experience. What should I do? Time passed like that. The rain continued for 2 weeks and the writing made no progress. I only pictured the criminal wearing a black hoodie on a rainy day in my head, but I couldn't remember the details of the crime. It's the curse of the hoodie I bought in London. Should I imitate Jack the Ripper? The figure of the criminal who strangled and killed a prostitute and harvested her organs was drawn. It seemed that I could finally see the clues to the story. The main character is a knave who grew up in an entertainment district and makes a living as a private detective. One day, a murder case takes place in the entertainment district where the main character grew up, and one of the entertainment district's pimps is arrested as the culprit. The pimp was one of the women who raised the main character during his childhood. However, the murder case continues even after the pimp is caught, and the main character decides to catch the culprit himself. The crime only happened on a rainy day. They kill victims by strangling them, remove their organs, mutilate their bodies, and dump them on the streets. The time when the incident happened was late at night when everyone else was sleeping. The main character sees the crime scene and guesses the montage of the culprit. He does not go to work, often visits entertainment districts, and has criminological knowledge. The main character finds a suspect while wandering around the entertainment district to investigate the case. He is a crime novel writer who has a studio near an entertainment district. Because he couldn't find the material for his next work, he committed a crime himself. However, the police do not believe the main character's words and the main character attempts to arrest the crime scene himself. The main character encounters a criminal wearing a black hoodie and fails in his pursuit, but leaves an indelible mark on the criminal's hoodie, It is stained with the blood of the main character. The blood on the hoodie is a crucial clue. I wrote and stretched until there. After a long time, I wanted to go to a nearby bar and cool my head. I checked the clothes hanging on the clothes rack. It was a bit damp, but most of it was almost dry. But the cursed black hoodie was still damp. There was a musty and fishy smell. I picked it up to wash the hoodie again, but there was something on the back. It was a red mark. It was as if it had been stained with someone's blood. When was it had? The last time I wore a hoodie was the beginning of the rainy season. I stopped by an entertainment district near my studio and came in drunk. Did something happen when I was drunk? There shouldn't have been anything bloody about it, but it was strange. However, I decided not to think too deeply because I had to work on it. Now was the time to focus entirely on writing. A few days passed and the writing was completed to some extent. The main character breaks into the house of a suspect, a crime writer, and steals a black hoodie. It is a conclusive piece of evidence to prove the crime. Soon, the police burst into the writer's studio and the writer is interrogated as a suspect, but he denies the crime with his flamboyant speech. The writer is eventually released and the main character decides to directly condemn the writer. I was worried about the ending. Should the writer be judged by the law? Should he be condemned by the main character? Or rather, should the main character be defeated and the writer's next work successfully released without incident? I was thinking about the ending and looked up recent murder cases and unsolved cases. There has been a recent murder in our neighborhood. The victims were all prostitutes who worked in entertainment districts, and it is said that they were strangled to death and their organs harvested. It is said that a nearby pimp was arrested as the culprit. The black hoodie the pimp was wearing became decisive evidence. A black hoodie, I saw a black hoodie hanging on a clothes rack. But the black hoodie was nowhere to be seen. It was as if someone broke into my house and stole it. Stealing a hoodie that hasn't even dried, what are he thinking? I was lost in thought. A siren was heard outside the window. A police car was coming. A police car was coming toward my studio. I realized something. It seemed that I now knew what the ending of the novel should be.